Okay, guys, get ready. I'm going to share with you today the absolute best business for you to invest in. You are not going to see this information on the cover of Money Magazine or Fortune. You're not going to hear about this on MSNBC, CNBC, any of the financial channels, Bloomberg. You're not going to read it in the Wall Street Journal, but you're going to hear it here. This is the truth, and we're going to delve into this in a fact-based way. So let's get started with the absolute best business for you to invest in. Now, let's take a look at some of the things that you can do with your money and look at the typical returns you get from those things. Let's take the big boy on the block, the stock market. All right, the stock market over the last 100 years has returned about 9.5, 10%, somewhere in there, depending on how you calculate it, okay? So you might be thinking, it's pretty good. It's not bad. Not bad at all, especially if you allow that money to compound. Okay, so you're not taking your return out every year. You're just letting it compound and increase in value. Maybe you're also reinvesting dividends, which, it's good as well. So the issue with the stock market, though, is most of the time you have to go into that without leverage. And what I mean by that is unless you want to open a margin account, and that basically is a loan for you to buy stocks. It's a loan you take out from your brokerage firm. Unless you want to do that, then 100 shares of ABC stock is going to cost you whatever the share price is times 100, right? So for some, it can get prohibitively expensive very quickly because you lack the ability to leverage. Now, we've done a video on this channel that talks about some concerns you should have with borrowing money to buy stock. We're going to link to that video. I want you to watch it because while you can do that, I'm not sure if you should. You're going to have to do your research and figure out on your own. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not. It is rather risky at times. It is, in large part, what led to the Great Depression. A lot of people had leveraged themselves to buy stock. So if you look at it without the leverage piece, you're looking at about 10% return on average over the last century or so. Okay? What about real estate? Well, let's talk about it. From the standpoint of rental property, now, of course, this is going to vary wildly because, as we've talked about before, real estate is a hyper-local market, which means that a price here in my neighborhood may be lower than the neighborhood a half mile down the street, okay, or less. It is not real estate, that is not a national market. If you were in California and I were in New York City and we purchased a share of stock listed on the New York Stock Exchange at the exact same time, we're going to pay, let's take brokerage fees out of it, we're going to pay the exact same price because stocks are a national, a global market. Not so for real estate. A duplex in Maryland is going to cost a lot less than the duplex in, say, Beverly Hills, California. All right. So that's just the price of the property. Then the demand in rent that you're going to be able to charge, the price rather, that's going to vary also naturally. So on average, we're looking at a 6 to 8% return on your rental real estate. Now, that doesn't take into account the appreciation of the property. Real estate, again, because it's based on location, it appreciates differently depending on where you are. But we've got about a 3% overall appreciation rate for real estate over the long term. So we're looking at between, if you take the 6 to 8% cap rate, you're looking at between 9 and 11% return. So we're slightly better than what we had from the stock market. Slightly, there's really a negligible difference there. But if we want to pay attention to the mathematics, we've got the potential for 11% based on our averages, and we've got the potential for 10% with the stock market, 11% for real estate. All right. So the next thing that you could do, here's where we're getting into the meat and potatoes of things. You could own your own business. And if you own your own business, now we've got between 15 and 18% on average with regard to returns, okay? Annual returns. Now, your business has to be well managed. You're not just going to fall into a 15 to 18% return and not conduct genuine business. You have to be in an industry that is in demand, okay? Usually, a small business owner will go out and they will get into business in an existing industry or in a part of an industry that has been in existence for a while. And the reason for that is because it's proven. Okay, there is proof that you can make money doing that, as opposed to those who strike out on their own and come up with a brand new idea that breaks paradigms, such as the folk that came up with Facebook. Okay, no one had really ever seen it done like that before. Yeah, sure, there was MySpace, but just because you're first to market doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the winner in that market. So you've got that. You've got, look at Elon Musk over at Tesla. He said, okay, now the automobile is something that is proven. However, we're going to do a little differently. We're going to make it electric, and then we're going to throw in some autonomy. And we're going to throw in a different way of purchasing this car, not from dealerships, but straight from the company. So he threw in a lot of different stuff into that equation, and he won. Now, if you go out and you want to do that, you very well could turn into the next Elon Musk, the next Jeff Bezos, okay? It's possible. However, if you want to increase your chances to make solid money over time and do so at a rate of return on average between 15 and 18%. Now, some industries get more. Let's say you have a law degree. Well, guess what? Your return on that equity now is up in the 80% range. Same thing with a doctor's office, home health care, real estate brokers, advertisement firms. They're in the 60% return on equity range. So you can really, if you do it right, and you got to have a passion, because you're going to want to, like doing whatever it is you do. If you build a business around these industries, you have a chance to make a much greater return over time. So that's the business. Your well-managed business in an industry that is proven, okay? That's the business that is more than likely going to be the best one for you to invest in. And you might say, okay, well, yeah, but it's more sexy, it's exciting to say I own a share of Tesla, and yeah, it's all well and good. But let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of the stock buyback? The stock buyback is simply when a company buys back their own stock. Now, when that happens, if you happen to own shares of that stock, it makes the shares outstanding more valuable because there are less of them on the market, okay? A lot of times. Of course, it's subject to fluctuations and, things that go on in the market. For example, the airlines were buying back stock at a prodigious clip before we had the pandemic. And then they got hit hard because they spent a lot of their money buying back their own stock. However, in normal times, buying back your own stock is a great thing because not only does it help your share owners, but it also is you, the company, investing in yourself. So you see large companies investing in themselves. not only in terms of buying back their own stock, but also in terms of research and development. Research and development is often one of the largest expenditures for a particular company. Tesla spends almost $2 billion on research and development, but Apple makes them seem like small fries. Apple spends over $18 billion a year on research and development. So stock buybacks, research and development, those are forms of reinvestment in those large companies. Employee development, sending, tuition assistance programs, sending employees for various trainings and whatnot. That's another form of investing in the company. I know that I was able to get a master's thanks to the company I worked for. That was them reinvesting in the company by taking me, well, I was a human asset at the time, and improving my skill set. So if these big companies have, figured out that investing in themselves is key to their ongoing success and development, then you might want to follow that lesson. All right, I hope this has been helpful. I will talk to you soon.